Hi there, back again. Now we're going to do the active range of motion, passive range of motion, resisted range of motion stuff for the shoulder complex. So first thing what we're doing here is just we're going to be assessing the difference in left arm and right arm, the shoulders to see if we have any decrease in range of motion that can lead us to a obvious pathology and stuff like that, build a better history and background on that patient. So the first thing you're going to do with this is you're going to do the aptly stretch. So this is 3 different stretches encompassing the shoulder complex. And what we're looking for here is just the ability to do the stretches and the patient's ability to kind of match side by side bilaterally. For all of these things, you're going to do bilateral. Today I might just do one or the other just for time's sake, but usually I'm going to do these bilaterally. So first part of the aptly stretch is the patient is going to do glenohumeral adduction, internal rotation, and scapular protraction. So what that means is there's going to be opposite hand to opposite shoulder like this. So that, okay. And then you got to do it on the other side as well and see the willingness to do that. If you're going to notice anything, if there's an obvious pathology, they're going to be kind of hesitant and it's going to hurt them and they're going to have experience some pain and unwillingness to complete the stretch. The second stretch we're going to do is glenohumeral adduction, external rotation, scapular elevation, and upward rotation. So what we're going to do here is we're going to complete opposite arm to opposite shoulder up above the head. What we can do here is have them, we can go to the back side, have them turn around, look at the posterior view, and have them do the other side one more time. You kind of see, you kind of got this arm farther on the scapula. The last part of the aptly compression or the stretch is the same thing. We're gonna have them posterior. This one is glenohumeral adduction, internal rotation, scapular rotation, and downward rotation of the scapula. We're doing here is we're gonna be doing the same kind of thing, opposite hand to opposite shoulder, but they're going behind the back. So what you're gonna do, Jonathan, is you're just gonna go like that. So he's gonna try to get as far up as he can on that, and they're gonna have him do it bilaterally. Yeah, and that's checking the aptly stretch. Next, I'm gonna go through the different types of scapular movements. You can turn back around now. So some of these were in Starkey's handbook. Some of these I do some research. I found on UCLA medical page on some of these. First thing is elevation depression of the scapula and kind of the shoulders. So a big thing there is this was one of the things I found on the UCLA medical page. Elevation is 40 degrees of elevation, depression is 10 degrees. So for elevation, the patient is going to be elevating the shoulders, hands to your side, elevating the shoulders, and then depression, you're just going to try to push your shoulders down as best as you can. Don't slouch, just push your shoulders down. And that's so 4 degrees elevation, 10 degrees depression. Protraction, retraction, so again, another thing I found on UCLA's medical page. Protraction, going to be rounding the shoulders, and then retraction, they're going to be kind of rolling the shoulders back. Protraction, and then retraction, pull your shoulders back as much as you can, and hold it. And then, like I said, protractions, 20 degrees of protraction I found, and 15 degrees of retraction. Next, we're going to do the elevation, or we're going to do flexion and extension, I mean. So these are in Starkey's handbook. So flexion, you're normally going to see about 170, 180 degrees of flexion and about 15 to 60 degrees of extension. So for flexion, I'm going to be going all the way above best I can. You can kind of turn this way for me. And then extension, you're going to go behind your back like this. And like I said, once they kind of start rounding and kind of pulling their shoulders forward, that's about as much as they can go without trying to keep going and causing more momentum. Next, you can be doing abduction and adduction. So adduction, you're not going to get anything. Adduction, normal adduction, just hands to your shoulder side. Not going to find anything on that. But for abduction, you're going to be in about the 70 to 80 degrees of abduction. So here, they're just going to go above their head to there. And do the other side as well. So that'd be the abduction, like I said, 70 to 80 degrees. Internal and external rotation, again, Starkey's handbook. Internal rotation, you get about 90 degrees of internal rotation. External rotation, you're going to get about 100 degrees. So here, you're going to have the patient start 90 degrees of abduction and a 90-degree flexion. Internal rotation, you're going to have them go like this as best they can. kind of bend that shoulder 90 degrees more. And then external rotation, you're gonna have them go like this. You can compare this, so you're gonna have them go to the side. So start again at neutral, and go down. So that's internal rotation, external rotation, have them going up. That's external rotation. And then the horizontal abduction and adduction, could not find that in Starkey. That's another one I had to look online. So with that is you're just going to have them start about 90 degrees horizontal abduction. So for adduction, you're going to have to bring them cross body as much as they can. And then for abduction, same thing, start here, and they're just going to bring their shoulder back as much as they can without rotating their trunk too much. Here what I found, for abduction, you're only going to get about 45 degrees of abduction from that position. And you're going to get about 135 degrees of adduction for horizontally. For resisted range of motion, I'll jump into that first. Resisted range of motion, you're going to go through the same thing as you went through with active, but you're just going to add a little resistance from them. So first thing we'll do is we'll just do flexion extension. So you're just going to stabilize. Just tell them to go through the same motion they were going through. So go start and just wait. And now go. And you're just going to add a little bit of resistance to see how much it can get. For that, and then extension, you're going to do the same thing. Start here and then go back again. And that's add a little bit of resistance to make it harder. Internal rotation, external rotation. So again, starting at 90-90. Internally, you're just going to have kind of apply some pressure, just resist them going down. So go like that. And external rotation, the same thing. Just apply some of that pressure. Make sure you're stabilizing and not letting them get too much motion. Elevation, you can't really do depression with resistance. But elevation, you're just going to put your hands on their shoulder and they're just going to elevate their scapula. Just add some resistance to them. Abduction, adduction, same thing. You can just apply some pressure and have them go through, bring your arm to your side. So I tell you to, arm to their side, up as high as you can, keep going. Keep going. And just add that resistance on them. Again, you're going to do this bilaterally for all of these. Horizontal add and abduction. That's something that's a little hard to do with resistance, but again, so I'll bring your arm out to here, and then just bring your arm across your body. Keep your arm straight. Arm across the body. Keep your arm straight. Keep going. And then for abduction, same thing. Just go behind you. Just add that resistance, make it a little bit harder. Don't let them twist their trunk too much. And then protraction, retraction. So protraction, you're just gonna have, like I said, bring your scapulas, your shoulders forward. Add that resistance, and retraction, same thing. Apply the pressure to the back, and then apply some resistance. So that's resisted range of motion. Like I said, you're doing that bilaterally for both. Protraction, retraction is one you can do both at the same time. The other ones are kind of hard to do at the same time because you want to stabilize. Lastly, the passive range of motions. So for all of these range of motions, you're going to get firm end feels. So it just means is you're just kind of getting that firmness, not going to be too soft where you can keep going, and it's not going to be too hard. If it's too hard, you obviously got a big deformity in a pathology with whatever, mostly in that glenoid fossa. So you're doing here. So for flexion extension, you're just going to be grabbing here, and you're just going to tell them to relax. And you're just going all the way back as you can. Same thing, just let them relax. And you're just going to go until you kind of find that stop where it doesn't make it like a hard stop, but you can kind of tell there's some elasticity to the motion. Same thing here with ab and adduction, kind of grab here, just take them through the motion. You're kind of going to feel a little bit of a catch, not a catch, but more of a, like I said, that stretchy capsule feel. Internal, external rotation, same thing. I go here, but instead of holding at the shoulder and the scapula, you're going to stabilize at the elbow. You're going to go through, and you're kind of going to feel that that capsular feel. And same thing with externally, you're going to feel that. And the horizontal ab and adduction, same thing. You're going to go here. Just going to bring our arm across until you find that. Don't make your elbows relax. Then abduction, same thing. That one you can do on a table. Like I said right now, just because the facilities I'm using, not really a great table to do all this. So yeah, so resistant or passive range of motion, flexion, extension, ab and adduction, horizontal ab and adduction, internal rotation. Yeah, so I went through active range of motion, passive range of motion with the end feels. Like I said, you should get more of a firm end feel for most of those, and resistant range of motion. Yeah, so that was that for the shoulder complex.